This is Kenny V. Lewis from the Steve Miller Band, and you're listening to Still Toking With on the Dorkening Podcast Network.
Did you know around 83% of Americans with disabilities are unemployed? We are changing that. The Prospector Theater is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to providing competitive and integrated employment for adults with disabilities through the operation of a first-run movie theater in Ridgefield, Connecticut. We greet, seat, and treat our audiences to the best, most accessible movie-going experience in the world. Hollywood blockbusters, delicious gourmet popcorn, and one-of-a-kind pink glove service. Join us for a movie and see our sparkle in action. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit www.prospectortheater.org.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. We have very active lifestyles. It's not all wandering the countryside aimlessly or scaring passing motorists. And we all love a good cup of joe. And there's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. Bold, robust, delicious. It's coffee that can wake the dead. With over a dozen different roasts and flavors, Deadly Grounds can satisfy the most finicky of coffee addicts. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
But thank you all for joining us. Thank you. It's been a lot of fun.
Do you have a hankering for horror knowledge?
We have such sights to show you.
Do you require raging retro reviews? Do you desire discussions with devastatingly dashing dorks? The Dorkening Podcast Network has nearly 30 shows to satisfy all of your nerdy, geeky, and dorky needs. From horror reviews and celebrity interviews.
Hi, I'm Adam Green, the director of the Hatchet films and the star of Holliston.
Hi, this is Dominic Pace, who played the bounty hunter Gecko from The Mandalorian.
Hi, I'm Mike Price. I'm a writer on The Simpsons. I co-created F is for Family.
Hi, guys. This is Dee Wallace from E.T. and Cujo.
Hi, my name is Kurando Mitsutake, director of Gun Woman and Karate Kill.
Hi, this is Samantha Newark, the voice of Jem and Jerrica from the original Jem and the Holograms cartoon series.
As well as nostalgic trips into the past, pop culture, the latest in entertainment news, and so much more, featuring a variety of shows and hosts that will simultaneously enrage, enlighten, and entertain you. Check out the Dorkening Podcast Network.
My mom says I'm cool.
Available on iTunes, Spotify, thedorkening.com, and wherever fine podcasts can be found.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. It is Wednesday, right?
It is Wednesday.
Yeah,
it was almost going to be Thursday.
Well, you know, the days just meld together. My name's Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard. We have a most awesome show scheduled for you today. And as always, make sure you check the show notes because I have a ton of information about our guest there. Even
Where are the show notes?
Up Leo? Above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. There's an Amazon link there, too, for skeleton dolls. We'll talk about that shortly. But as always, Benjamin, how's it going, my friend?
What's happening, everybody?
little bit of a late start. You know how those rock stars are. But it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just gonna say I said abracadabra and came on the screen. I mean, that's all I really got to say about that.
Like a leprechaun, because we have somebody from Ireland in the chat.
I was gonna say, first comment in the chat tonight was from Ireland. You know, welcome to the show.
Oh yeah. That's where the leprechauns come from, right?
Yeah. I hope they bring a pot of gold.
Leprechauns? Do they come from Ireland?
Yeah, hey,
Jeffrey.
Speaking of leprechauns,
how's everybody doing out there? Oh, wrong hand. Yeah, see, it's backwards. You know, so yeah, we have an awesome show. I thought I was gonna have to do the show myself for a little while there, but you know, everything happens for a reason, and I am psyched to have this late rock star. Well, he's the current rock star, but he was late tonight. You know what I mean?
But that's because he's been very busy.
He's been very busy. Actually, I heard he was sleeping under a piano.
He's been very busy.
He's been very busy, very busy, and we are so excited that he would take time out of his day to join us. Can we welcome Kenny Lee Lewis, please?
Hey guys.
Hey Kenny.
Welcome to the show.
Got my Grim Reaper here with the clock, to remind me of how much time I have left.
It's not one of the hourglasses with the sand.
Yeah, no, it's a clock. I actually bought this in Carnarvon, Wales, a while back near the Carnarvon Castle. Speaking of Ireland, my wife and I spent some time at the Dublin Castle there, where Bram Stoker used to live.
Oh wow!
Ooh,
yeah.
That's really
that's
cool.
actually pretty cool.
That is really cool.
Did you see any bats?
One of my questions.
No bats. Just a tour guide.
Okay.
But like Jeff said, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, which we know is super busy now that we talked to you a little bit backstage, to join us tonight and hopefully gain some new fans and friends. And
okay, that's great. We can always use more fans.
You know, let some people know of the new stuff that you are working on that nobody would ever imagine the bassist for Steve Miller would be doing.
Okay. Well, I do play a little bass and guitar, and here they are. Actually, these are the little bass and guitar that I play.
Ba-dum-bump.
Oh yeah.
Ba-dum-bump.
Right.
Oh,
it's full of comedy tonight, folks. Full of comedy.
12.
Yeah, I had to grab some props while you guys were preparing with videos here. So
yeah, I don't blame you. I would have grabbed more than just a couple.
I'll pull a couple surprises.
Nice.
I left the dildo in the closet though.
Oh, that's right. Is that shaped like a guitar too?
No. I play a little dildo once in a while too. Now, see, you guys shouldn't have shown me the intro to this show because it shows me that I can be completely outlandish, and I don't.
Oh, that's what we want, dude.
The more outlandish, the better.
I mean, you didn't have to start it out with dildos, but I'm good with that.
Well, it's not far; it's just around the corner.
I'm not going to ask whose they actually are. So.
No.
Oh boy, folks. Leo, can we try to bring this back on the track? Maybe just a little bit back on the track.
Well, you have an event coming up August 21st.
Yes.
And so this is at Jones Beach.
Jones.
Jones Beach, and it's a festival. Mm-hmm. So tell us about that.
Well, I don't know much about it. I just have, I have the calendar from the Steve Miller organization, but I did look at a poster and it had, we're sharing the bill with the new version of Journey, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, has Michael Narda Walden on drums and Randy Jackson on bass coming back, and but still with Jonathan and Neil and Arnell. So that should be interesting. And then we also have John Fogerty on the bill. We have Ann Wilson from Hart on the bill. The Chainsmokers, which I've heard a lot about. I've never seen them live, but you guys ever heard of them?
Yes.
I've heard of them, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, every time I look in the mirror.
Yep. And then there's, I think, Wycliffe Jean doing some reggae. There's Florida, which I think is some kind of a new hip-hop act. And then there's a bunch of others, too, that I can't remember them all. But it's a big festival. And that venue is pretty interesting. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's on Long Island, and it's on the harbor, and it's literally built on top of the bay. So the audience sits and looks at the stage, and the stage is surrounded by the bay. It's kind of interesting. And
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's
really cool. And talk about creepy stuff. In order to get to the stage from the parking lot where our buses usually are located, we have to go down into this tunnel that goes underwater and goes all the way up to the back of the stage, and we come up through this weird little stairwell to go on the stage. So it's kind of like magic. because everybody's sitting there watching the stage. But the stage is not huge. It's just it's got some buildings in the back, little outbuilding stuff. But they don't really see any rock stars or anything until we appear magically on stage. So it's almost like a Vegas David Copperfield kind of thing.
That's cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
I
I'm gonna have to check that place out.
Kenny Lee's going to go live on his Facebook. This is me in the tunnel.
Yeah. So anyway, that's Jones Beach. That'll be August 21st.
Cool.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And it'll be our first job that we've had in about a year and a half.
Right.
Yeah, 16, 17 months of no work. Just can't do anything. So we did do a casual about a month ago in Indianapolis for private, which was controlled. Their distancing and masking and stuff was their protocol. But this is the first public venue, big rock show we've done for that long period of time. So we're really looking forward to it.
Now, I've been trying to see Steve Miller live for years, and I mean years, okay? The fucking problem is that every time you guys come up to New England, you like the summertime for some reason, okay? And I'm always on fucking vacation at my camp in Maine, and I can't come fucking see you.
Well, we play Maine. We play Maine too. We've done. In fact, we did.
You've played Bangor.
Yeah, we played some really weird gig that was kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
I can hook you up with a few of those.
2.5 years ago. It was really nice though. It was a small little, kind of on the green kind of event, but it was really fun. It had a view of this huge lake. It was really nice.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. But we do Maine from time to time.
All right. I'm going to follow your schedule
You
again.
can continue to beat me up if you'd like. That's okay. Go on.
No, that's good. It's cool. I took my shots. You gave them back.
Oh my!
But I'm looking forward to having you in the green room, free guacamole and beer, when we can make that happen.
Oh, absolutely.
There you go.
I'm going to look up tour dates now. The things are opening back up. You know what I mean? Hopefully they stay that way. But now that I don't know where it's going to go. But
hard to say, man. It can happen.
So, but I'm going to check your schedule out. Everybody should check their schedule out. Give them a follow. Give them a like. If they're in your area, get some fucking tickets.
Yeah, SteveMillerBand.com. Just go to tours and stuff. It's current should be on there. Just make sure you're not looking at last year's schedule.
Right. A lot of people have not updated their schedules from last year.
Well, they want to gloat on what they did before, and it's like, this is what we did, Okay.
Right. But speaking of some really cool things you've done, I read somewhere that you worked Dave Schechter on researching some parts for guitars.
Well, you did do some homework, didn't you?
Yeah.
That goes way back. Right? Well, we invented the parts business in 1974.
Right.
And I was working for an amplifier corporation at the time. It was a kind of experimental. It was called Delta. It was in Sun Valley, in the San Fernando Valley. Mm-hmm. And the company was not doing very well. We made about 100 amps, and they were starting to blow up on stage, and it was not good. I mean, we had Skunk Baxter and Frank Zappa as a couple of our we were trying them out. And so one day, while we were trying to figure out how to reinvent the wheel, this guy comes in off the desert, some strange guy, and he had this Stratocaster pickguard with all the electronics and pickups already soldered in. It was just a drop-in assembly. And it was Dave Schechter. And he says, Fender guitars right now are just terrible. He goes, you can just rip all the guts out, drop this in, and immediately you got this great fun. And we thought he was nuts, so I took my Strat, my 63 Strat, took it out, took my guts out, stuck this thing in, although my 63 Strat was great to begin with. I should have never touched it, of course.
Right.
But, we dropped in this assembly just as an experiment, and sure enough, it really sounded great. And all the switches were military quality and Bourne spots, and all of it was hand wired. And so I was the quality control manager for the amp company at that time. And because they could see that the amp company was getting ready to nosedive, they kind of got an M1 shop. They made me the Igor of Dave Schechter, and we started hand wiring pickups in this old little M1 shop, eating beans and rice and, listening to Elmore James while we hand, wound these pickups with a Cox slot car controller, speed adjustment. And, we had these, magnetizers and, and all this stuff. It was crazy. So that went on to starting to make parts, replacement parts, and then eventually we bought a lot of exotic woods and we started making our own guitars. So that was from about 74 to about 76 when I was there. So yeah, I was there, the original employee for Dave Schechter.
That's awesome. Now to me that's more intriguing than playing bass for Steve Miller.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's just me.
Historic longevity, it's a close second. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, that's where I see the talent. No, I'm just kidding.
And then when I met my girlfriend, when I met my employer, she was my employer first at Diane Steinberg Lewis, who was just in here a second ago. she hired me to play bass with her, and we started playing some really nice gigs, and she was doing a second album, and we were co-writing, and she wanted me to play on the album. So I got really busy with her, so I wasn't able to spend as much time with Dave, and they started bringing on more employees, and a guy named Tom Anderson showed up one day, and Tom Anderson was the guy that I kind of showed around the shop and showed how to use the CNC machine, and mixing the lathe and all that. And he ended up becoming an incredible luthier himself with his own Anderson guitar.
Nice.
So I got a question for you.
Okay, Jeff. I see your nameplate, so I'm gonna pretend like I'm at a dinner. Okay, Jeff.
Okay, Jeff. No, seriously. I mean, I listened to a lot of music, especially in my younger days growing up and stuff. And I read that you were in a band named called Pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I never heard of Pieces. Can you tell me about that, please?
Well, it's surprising you never heard of any band named Pieces, because even Steve Perry from Journey was in a band called Pieces.
I've never heard of a band called Pieces.
With Tim Bogert from Vanilla Fudge. He had a band called Pieces. It never took off either. That's why you never heard of it. But the band that I joined was actually called Five Mighty Pieces, and they were a club act around LA here that, wore outfits and did steps, and then they would come in singing, Who Loves You by Frankie Valli from the back of the room, and they'd come up the stage and, kind of sway everybody, and it was kind of cornball. And I got in it, and I said, man, this is a really good band. We should write songs and try to get a record deal. And I ended up getting my friend Jeff Lieb, at that time was his name, is now named Jeff Harris. And he and I sort of took that band, and we built a studio at the drummer's house, and we got some producers, and we wrote some tunes. We got a record deal with it, and we got on Liberty Records, which was a United Artists label, UA Liberty, and got a deal through Mark, the lead singer from Paul Revere and the Radio, Mark Lindsay. He was an A&R guy by that time, and he loved us, and he signed us over a bunch of other people that were actually going for us. And we put out a record, A Blue-Eyed Soul, around 1979, and unfortunately, when our record was being released, the label was being absorbed by EMI Capital. Everybody was fired, including Mark, and we were orphans on a new label, basically. And also, the knack had just hit with My Sharona. And if you did Blue-Eyed Soul, you were out. All the, Hall & Oates and Michael McDonald's and, Bobby Caldwell's and, you name it. Anybody that was doing Blue-Eyed Soul, you were out. Yeah. You had to do rock and roll and wear a thin tie, or else you weren't going to be able to be in the music.
Right. It was going through that change.
Black,
right.
That R&B category, but there was separating in that end, which I thought was kind of screwy. So that record just never got pushed. It never went anywhere. And plus, there was a promotion guy named Charlie Miner who wanted $50,000 cash just to get us on rotation. And we only had $25 left in our budget. And we gave it to him, and he laughed and took the money anyway. He never put us on rotation. And eventually, his girlfriend blew his nuts off, and he died that way. So he got his
All right, that's awesome.
It was actually a very similar episode. If you've ever seen the episodes on that show that was called Vinyl, did you ever see the show called Vinyl?
I caught a few of them.
I think it was on HBO.
Yep.
Vinyl is pretty amazing because it's actually pretty true incidences that happen. And there is a scene in there where a record promotion guy gets his head caved in with an andiron from a fireplace. And I took great pleasure in seeing that episode. But yeah, that's what happened to the record. It just got killed because we didn't have enough cash to pay payola to get it on the radio. And Blue-Eyed Soul was out. So there you go.
Oh. Cool. Wow. So before we shift gears, Leo, do you want to try and get a quick commercial in?
Sure.
Just one.
Just one?
Okay.
Yeah, just
okay, yeah, I can do that. So as always, you know what? I'm just going to play the commercial. Not even going to talk it up. Here we go.
Did you know around 83% of Americans with disabilities are unemployed? We are changing that. The Prospector Theater is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to providing competitive and integrated employment for adults with disabilities through the operation of a first-run movie theater in Ridgefield, Connecticut. We greet, seat, and treat our audiences to the best, most accessible movie-going experience in the world. Hollywood blockbusters, delicious gourmet popcorn, and one-of-a-kind pink glove service. Join us for a movie and see our sparkle in action. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit www.prospectortheater.org.
A lot of awesome stuff coming to the theater. You got Suicide Squad coming out in a couple weeks. I'm sure they'll have that.
Really? Another remake?
It's not a remake. It's the new one.
It's the new one.
Yeah.
It's the new one.
And it looks kick-ass. You got King Shark in it. Yeah, it's the
Save
sequel.
that for the Dorkening.
Oh, boy. Wow, that wasn't cool.
Jeez.
Love you, Leo.
So, Kenny, your guitar lessons, online guitar lessons.
Yes, I just started a new, during the pandemic, of course, I had to reinvent myself because there wasn't any work going on. So I had to go inside myself, figure out, well, what good skill set do I have that I can bring forward that would be my best thing for right now? And that would be my guitar playing and bass playing and guitar playing lessons. And I've been a teacher on and off throughout my years, and I decided to make one of these 24/7, subscription membership guitar lesson websites. So I have one now, and it's called Fret Friends, and it's FRETFRENZ.com. And anybody can go there. There's a 24-hour free trial, and there's some sample lessons if you just want to look at it before you even get involved. But I share all my secrets and all the things I've learned over the years, and then I talk some road stories and some humor and stuff while doing the lessons. So it's a little more than just a clinical, lesson site, but it's really cool, and people are starting to sign up, and it's coming on really well. I also lubricate that with my YouTube channel with flypaper, if you will, by doing interviews with people, almost like what you guys are doing here, and playing guitars and talking instruments and gear and whatnot. And I just did Jimmy Vivino. I just did Greg Douglas, who wrote Juggalo for Steve Miller, actually, and he gave us secrets about the guitar parts, which were kind of bizarre. And then I just did Jack Sonny from the Dire Straits when he was with Dire Straits during their heyday and played with them in Live Aid. So I've got another guy that I just did, Pete Anderson, that was a producer for Dwight Yoakam in the early years, and I'm just editing that now. So I'm just going to continue doing them. I've got Tim Pierce coming up pretty soon. Jay Graydon agreed to do it. Danny Weiss, a whole bunch of different people that are coming up. That
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
we're just guitar players that just none of us are superstars. Steve Lukather might do one. He's about the closest superstar I figured that'll probably do one. In our buds, we had the same birthday. We've known each other for years. So those are free, and you just see those on my Kenny Lee Lewis YouTube channel. You go there and you go to the Fret Friends playlist, and you'll see all these videos I'm doing. And I just do entertainment type stuff, where I play and I just perform, or I'll talk or I'll teach a little bit, but then at the end, of course, I advertise the subscription website. I was going to say prescription website. Pretty close. So that is going on, and that's taken a lot of time and effort, and the editing.
Sounds like it, yeah.
If you've ever, edited any of these shows, you know what it's like. It's crazy. And you got to know tech stuff, and I'm old school. I'm still playing through tube amp, and
it's the eye candy that does all that.
Magnetic pickups. Yeah, I can see he's the younger, better looking one.
Right.
Leo's probably the one that knows all this stuff and has to teach it up to all.
Right.
Yeah.
His hair isn't gray yet.
Oh yeah, it is. It's well.
It's coming. All right,
it's coming.
It turns
since he started working with us.
Right.
So check those sites out, and then of course my regular website, which is kennyleelewis.com. You can see all the other stuff that I've been doing, and you can send me an email there if you want to communicate with me and get on my mailing list and whatnot for all my other bands that I do, because I do about 5 other bands other than Miller.
Wow. And, if you missed any of those links, I do have them in the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. And, I saw one of your Facebook posts. You're a little bit of a, dork yourself, posting about the big iOS update. Yeah.
That was, I don't usually do that, but this one was interesting because it was like, it involved wearing a mask. And I was like going, wow, this is really interesting. The pandemic, has creeped into the technological app world where we're trying to adjust our technology to fit our biological, invasion that's happening on us.
Yeah. My wife got the, I guess it only went out to a few because it didn't show up on my phone about an update. And it's probably the same one you're talking about where it'll recognize you even with your mask on.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
Yeah.
Too bad we can't do that with law enforcement, right? With robbers and stuff, robbing banks.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, now you can if they share the data.
Well, there you go. Probably.
And we lost Jeff. He got a phone call, or
he got a phone call in the middle of it.
Yeah. So how are you recording these, and how are you editing?
How am I? I'm sorry. Say that again.
How are you recording your interviews, and what are you using to edit?
I'm just using all the free stuff. I'm using Zoom, and I Marquee, the thing when I want to close up, and and I tried recording 2 different audio tracks, thinking I'd get 2 individual tracks that I can mix. No, the Zoom thing supersedes that. and whoever's the loudest audio signal is the only one you get on the feed.
Yeah.
So I completely lose the other track. So I don't know how. Maybe this thing that you're using, you can have individual tracks that are separate.
So you're doing it through Zoom.
Yeah, I do Zoom, and I'll do like a marquee, style thing. But then when I want to have just one camera, like you just did a second ago, I'll actually mix it that way, and I'll go in, I'll grab that and make that close up, and then go back to, you know what I mean? I'll do that through iMovie. I use like iMovie because it's free. It's on my computer, so
Yeah, but iMovie is great to use. I mean, the Final Cut is just like a glorified iMovie.
Right.
It's very similar.
I'll probably have to buy that eventually, But do you know of a format where we can do this type of thing where each individual audio track is separate?
There is, but it's very buggy. I forgot the name of it, but your best bet is if you only have one guest, or are you talking about multiple guests?
No, one guest.
Okay, your best bet is actually use a external mixer. So I'm using I can send you a link to it, the Zoom L8. So I have my audio on a separate track, and then all you guys on your own track. So that I can edit the audio that way.
Is it just taking the stereo signals and breaking that in half?
It's actually, so the way it's hooked up to my computer is my microphone is one track, and then the audio coming from you guys is a separate track through the computer.
Okay.
And
we can talk about that,
totally.
another time. But that sounds really interesting. That would be nice because then I could actually mix, because sometimes I jam with the guys, and it's very difficult trying to like get it mixed just right. When one's superseding the other audio, it's kind of like a superseding kind of a thing.
Yeah, there was a service that was they were trying to do a jam kind of service as well. I'll find the information and I can send it to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you like the way we segued from dildos into technology? I thought that was
you know what?
Well, there's been a couple of times where the dildo is going to get brought back up.
I'm looking at Ben and Jeff's faces, and they're going like,
well, no, because see, when you guys started talking about that and you brought up your YouTube channel, instantly in my head, I said, well, geez, if Kenny's only running on YouTube, we really should talk to him behind the scenes because we're running 12 platforms worldwide, including the radio side of things on independent radio. How cool would it be if you could start bringing
you were the guys I was supposed to send the Restream key to get all my other stuff going live, and I completely dropped the ball on that.
Yeah, you fucked that one up too.
Yeah,
but it's okay.
It's all good.
Well, I have an interview on the 1st, which is in a couple of days, and I was confusing this with that date. And I was just, today, I just played the Mid-State Fair yesterday with my band here in Paso Robles, and it was a really big deal. I've never headlined a fair before myself personally. So, today was just like, I finally just let my brain just melt. And I went, I'm just going to be a zombie today. I'm not going to think about anything. I completely just spaced out. So, again, my apologies, but we're here. But there you go.
No worries.
Yeah, no worries at all. And I was also the one that sent you the switchboard. We use something similar. It's a service called Switchboard that allows... It's different from Restream, where this here you can like grant access to somebody streaming on your content or your pages for like a limited amount of time. You can say, hey, give me access to stream to your YouTube for like 24 hours. And then after that,
you and I are going to hook up, baby, because, I need you, baby. I need all the medulla you can give me.
Well, that's what I was saying.
I don't mind. Yeah.
Yeah, Leo's got some medulla. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. And he actually, I'm not going to bullshit.
Right behind the brainstem, right here.
Yeah.
Right. He's got one hell of a network going on over here with the Dorkening Podcast Network.
Yeah. I need help with all that stuff, man. I'm completely old school.
Well, it's
I built a crystal radio set with an alligator clip you'd hook onto your lead pipe, your plumbing, so you could get radio coming through when I was like 10 years old.
Oh, that's cool.
That's where I started.
But speaking of other things that you've done, you wrote, you're a writer as well.
Yes. I wrote a novel about 5 years ago based on a true story. Our bass player in the Steve Miller Band was dating this really hot chick, and she had an identical twin sister. And she would come around, and they were probably about 29 then, 29, 30. And they were just stunning. And they used to come up to our cabin that we have up in Montana, and they would help us, strip the bark off the logs with bikinis and everything, and just smile all day long, really nice ladies, and I met their mother at some point, and she started telling me these stories about what they were like when they were really little, when they're speaking in their own languages, their telepathic abilities, and all these other strange things. And it just made the hair stand up on my arm. I just said, can I run with this and kind of make it a novel? And she said, sure, just change the names. So the first 10 chapters of my book, Skeleton Dolls, Children of the Tower, is about female identical twins that use twin speak into their adult years. And we find out in the book, of course, I made all this up, but it does say in the Bible, in the Old Testament, that at one point before the Tower of Babel was destroyed, we all spoke the same language and we all spoke to God directly. I mean, it wasn't like a thought that came into your head. It was just sort of like God saying to Noah, hey, build an ark. And you go, how long? And they would just have a conversation, and it was like that. I didn't write that part. So I suggest that twin speak and also people who speak in tongues in church are actually speaking the original language of God, which has power in it. And the church sort of suppressed this back during the time of Merlin, and stuff, because, only Jesus, of course, could have this incredible power. We couldn't allow other people to have this power. So they suppressed the whole language. Plus, there's incantations and singing that goes along with it. So there's frequency involved, vibration. They sing in really weird intervals and stuff in this book. And they're able to raise the dead, and heal people, and do all kinds of crazy stuff, which, of course, gets them into a lot of trouble. So that just gives you a little bit of an idea of what the book is about. But it's pretty interesting. And eventually they travel to Australia and hang out with the invisible Aboriginal tribes there that are off the census and that have never been seen.
Wow, sounds like a really freaky porno movie.
No. Although there is some sex in it. That was pretty interesting. When
Of course there is.
Women who have telepathic and telekinesis powers having sex at the same time in two different parts of the city at the same time.
Right, there you go.
There's some interesting things that can happen.
I do have, if you look in the show notes, there is an Amazon link. And
there it is.
Yeah. And there's the cover of the book.
Yeah, it's the asphyx. That creature right there is a seraphim angel that actually has the power to take your soul or restore it. And he is literally, or it, I should say, is literally the Grim Reaper. And that is also biblical. It's called Sashiel, which is the name of one of the seraphim angels, and that is the giver of life and death. And so that's an actual real character that's also in the Bible.
Wow.
Very cool.
See, I'd buy it, but I don't see an option
Cool.
for autographed
Now that
copy.
is out and available, right?
Yes, it's on Amazon, it's on Kindle, and also hard copy.
They can find that in the show notes up above or down below, right, Leo?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I think it's $4 for Kindle and $17 for a book or something like that. I don't know.
17 bucks?
How much is it if it's autographed?
Well, it's 460 pages, Jeff. You get a lot for your bang for your buck.
All right. Well, that's cool. 460.
Yeah, no,
All right.
My biggest complaint about this book, the only complaint I've ever had on the book, is that it's not long enough. And it's already 460 pages. Everybody just wants it to keep going.
460 pages is a good size book.
Yeah.
I read a lot of books.
Okay.
But I do those cliffhanger, kind of endings on each chapter where you can't not go to the next chapter. You have to go to the next chapter. And people are saying that they just never got any sleep. Constantly just the book would just nag them from over on the shelf, and it was just like they couldn't have a life because they had to finish the book.
Wow, I'm going to have to get that book because I want to read it.
It's pretty cool. I'm very proud.
Sounds like an awesome story.
Like I said, the reason why you never heard of it is that I self-published it. I never could get an agent or a publisher to talk to me after I self-published it. I never got a decent review, and I never got any push on it. And I'm too busy playing music to sit and toot my horn on being a novelist. So hopefully this sequel that I just wrote for, which involves the 2024 election with these twins. Oh my God, you got to wait till you read this. And
is that out too?
No, that's
not yet.
The point. You can't put it out unless you have an agent. You put it out without an agent, you're killing yourself as a writer. You have to have it to get you with the publisher so they can be involved from the beginning, the middle, the end. Because they're investing their time and money without any guaranteed income, and they want to make sure it's going to be a hit. So that's the reason why they want fresh meat. So if you don't bring in fresh meat, they ain't interested.
Just like the dildo in back here.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's no. No, see, I knew that if I brought that up, you guys were going to keep bringing that. It was going to be a recurring thing.
He's infatuated with this dildo for some reason.
Oh, dude, I know. I've been holding back.
I know you have. Trust me, I know you have. You showed great
restraint.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Wow.
I said I would definitely have to order that book too, but is there an option for autographed copies?
No, unfortunately, they're all manufactured one at a time. I never bought a whole bunch of them. Like I just ordered 16 of them because I sell them all the time on my gigs. Believe it or not, I sell more books than I do my CDs, which is pretty funny.
Okay, so this is a two-step then, because now I got to buy the book. I'm going to order the book. Then I'm going to have to mail it to you,
or come to one of our shows,
or come to one of your shows.
We've been crying the blues.
So the bodyguard can push my head, not allow me.
So you got to come and hang out in the green room, and I'll sign the motherfucker.
Yeah, you will. Deal.
So that's what's been going on, and then like I said, the YouTube channel, Kenny Lee Lewis YouTube channel is kind of the flypaper that gets people to go to the teaching website, fretfriends.com, FRETFRENZ.com. So people would sign up, and then I end up getting that monetized income. So that's the only way you get the income, is to use YouTube to kind of be the flypaper to get people to look at it.
Right, pretty much.
Yeah, smart way to do it too.
Yeah,
well, yeah.
Just like you guys using the show, so you can get some attention that your dad didn't get.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that works. Wow, man.
Ouch, huh?
Yeah.
Ouch.
I just got to get spiced up a little bit here. Sorry.
Yeah, that was a good one.
He was like, guys, hold on. And he just took Cactus and he went, how do you like that? How did it feel?
Yeah, sorry. My apologies.
Don't be sorry. It was great. It worked perfectly on the show.
I'm myself in that too. We all want our daddy to give us the nod,
Right.
So anyway, was born in Pasadena, 1954. Moved up to Sacramento, the capital of the state, in '60. So all my school years were up in Sacramento. So I was greatly influenced by the San Francisco hippie Fillmore scene, but also the mountains and the outdoors up there. Because I was always up in Tahoe or Shasta or in the Sierras. I was a Boy Scout. I was a YMCA ragger. I mean, I was all that stuff. And then eventually met some people that a family of Italian guys that were had brothers that were in the music business in LA, and they sort of grandfathered me to come back down to LA in 1973 to begin my career as a studio musician. That's sort of the genesis of how all that started.
Right. Yeah, I was looking back over some of your notes here, and it said that your first instrument was actually the ukulele.
Correct.
Yeah.
My brother and sister were folkies, and they were getting all the attention. Again, we're talking about attention in the family. And they were older than me, and they were, doing all the Peter, Paul, and Mary, and If I Had a Hammer and all that stuff. For our families during, we'd have like holiday dinners and stuff. And I was 6 years younger than my sister. And it was like, I couldn't get my hand around a guitar neck. I was too little. So I was like 6, 7 years old, and they were getting all the attention. So I begged my aunt, who had a ukulele, to let me borrow it. And then I learned some songs on the ukulele, and I started entertaining the family with the ukulele. So that was this, just trying to play catch up to my older brother and sister.
Right. So you basically come from a family of musicians as well.
Well, they weren't professionals. They were just doing it for fun. My dad wanted to be a musician. He had played saxophone, guitar, and drums throughout his life, but never professionally. And he ended up becoming a tax collector, of all things. Imagine that. And but he had a great record collection. He loved swing music, and so I grew up in a house of swing. So from his 78 gramophones to his LPs to all the way up until the Beach Boy and English Invasion. I mean, I had music going on all the time.
Right.
Wow.
That's crazy.
You've also worked with the likes of Boz Scaggs.
Yeah, so Boss worked for me once when I was the jam director at the China Club, Hollywood. And of course, I sort of took his chair eventually in the Miller Band. With other people in between, of course.
Right.
That was we sort of call the second guitar seat in the Steve Miller Band the Boz Scaggs seat, because that was the original seat that we all had to step up to. But I was doing this jam thing at the China Club, which at that time was just on fire. We were having a ball. It was Monday night jams off Selma and Gower over there in Hollywood. And so Smitty Smith was a great organist who had been working with him. And he said, why don't you call Boz? He'd probably do the jam. Because I used to have guests all the time. Yeah. And so I called him up, and he agreed to do it. And we met, and we had a great time. Turned me on a bunch of great songs. And he was our guest that night. And so that was my only time of meeting and playing with Boz. But like I said, I occupied the chair that he warmed up for 28 years as the guitar player for the Steve Miller.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, it's actually, there's a list of others here, like
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf.
It's like Meatloaf, really?
And surprisingly enough, the Perry family, the Italians in Sacramento I was telling you about, one of those brothers became a great engineer, and he engineered the Silk Degrees album, which was Boz's big hit album with all the hits on it and stuff. But he engineered that.
Wow. Wow.
Awesome stuff, man. That's just awesome stuff.
I read that you said like right now we're kind of going like through a detox phase in rock and roll.
Let's see. Let's examine that. A detox phase.
What's
the quotation?
Let me find it here.
We were talking about. Were we talking about what's going on in politics on Capitol Hill this week?
No.
I was talking about
Might have been
America having a colonoscopy.
Might have been an old. Let's see.
Hence the dildo.
One of my famous posts from a couple of days ago. Yeah, these inquiries are kind of like a colonoscopy. They're looking for polyps.
I didn't put the website. It was saying right now we're going through another detox cycle in rock and roll. Might have been an older post.
Oh, okay.
That I was reading.
I was wondering what that was in conjunction with, but it sounds like something I might have come up with.
Right.
I'm not really sure what that was inquiring about, but
yeah.
Well, that fits in so many different ways.
Yeah, I mean, I could take that and run with it right now. I could say that, yeah, I mean, there's, when you look at what's being put up there for, folks that are going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and people that are getting accolades for things that are not new, they're not original, they're just sort of like recycled stuff that we all did back in the 60s and 70s. I mean, Greta Van Fleet is a great band. They're doing a great job of kind of doing like a garage impersonation of a Led Zeppelin thing, and they're doing a pretty good job. It sounds very much like Zeppelin. I mean, with some changes because personnel being different. But to me, I mean, I don't go out by the record because I've already lived that era. I've already played all that music. I know that. Right. I completely lived it. I don't need to have some young band, reminding me of my childhood because I've already gone there and been there.
He's been there.
I'm not sure what my detox comment was about, but
yeah, I should have made note of the website I grabbed it from. What I normally do is I grab little snippets from different places on the web, so I have some notes.
But I think it probably was just relating to the fact that, in my opinion, as a geezer from the golden era, there's just a lot of really shitty music out there that just doesn't make any sense to me. Right. And if it is getting accolades as being something new and it sounds like something old, then it's just, recycling, which is fine. And like I said, Greta Van Fleet, I'm glad the younger people are getting exposed to that because they probably wouldn't go out and seek out a Zeppelin album. Maybe some of them, but not all of them. Right. But they're young and they're fresh and they're cute and the girls will look at them and they go, oh, yeah, look at them. Because they look at me, I mean, I look like, Santa Claus, they're not going to get behind where I'm coming from. And Ben, you're getting there too,
Oh, I'm definitely getting there. I looked
or I could say Michael McDonald, which is a little different. But, but I mean, they don't care about me. They care about a bunch of young guys doing their thing. I mean, Bruno Mars is a great talent. I mean, he's fantastic. But he's just doing that old shtick, from Memphis and Russell Shoals. And it's like, it's nothing new. And he does a really good job of it. And if he does the thing where it's kind of like the Royals or the Dells, with the vocals and all that stuff. I mean, he's just recycling back for a new generation so they can get in touch with that which we've already done, conquered, and invented. And so whatever detox we're talking about, I think what we're doing is we're kind of getting the younger people educated to that stuff. And that being said, it's actually a positive thing. So it's a detox. Usually when you detox, it's a positive thing, because you're being, made anew, which is nice. And so maybe that's what I was referring to.
I get it.
But that's an interesting take because basically it's like, the kids of today with this new music are actually getting introduced to what we grew up with.
Correct. And that's fine. They should. And if it means them doing it through another band. I mean, look at us. I mean, I have to admit, when I first learned blues, I didn't learn it from Howlin' and Muddy and guys. I learned it from the Yardbirds and Cream and it's like John Mayall. I mean, that's who I learned the blues from. And then I had to go backwards to understand that their influences were actually our American people that you heard on the radio. When I was listening to radio when I was a kid in Sacramento in 1962, 63, 64, they didn't play any of that stuff. They didn't play any real blues. They were playing Pat Boone, Frankie Valli, and the Beach Boys. It's like, come on. And we didn't get exposed to it. So I had to get exposed to it through those English invasion people. So it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Next generations.
Yeah.
Right.
But you have to have a younger, more exciting looking package in order for you to be interested as a otherwise you're just looking at these old guys you can't relate to. Like, He looks like my dad, and I hate my dad.
Yeah, right.
Right. Pretty much. Wow.
Did I see that you've done some music for film, including Rocky 3?
Yes. Well, when I was a studio musician, like I mentioned, when I moved back down to LA in '73, I began my genesis. I met my wife, Diane Steinberg here, who eventually became Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, in the Sgt. Pepper movie with the Bee Gees and Peter Frampton. She had a record deal on ABC Dunhill, and she co-wrote songs with me, and she insisted that I play bass on her album. So I played a little bass on her album.
That's how she sees it anyway.
And but through that session, she had Jeff Vaccaro on drums from Toto. She had Jay Graydon on guitar. She had David Page from Toto on keyboards and stuff. So I got introduced to all those A-player guys, and they brought me into the studios. So when I did that, I started meeting a lot more contractors, and eventually met Bill Conti, who met me through a lady named Allie Willis, who wrote a bunch of big hits. I don't know if you know Allie Willis, but she wrote September and Boogie Wonderland, for Fire, the Friends theme, a whole bunch of big Neutron Dance, Pointer Sister, a whole bunch of big. Anyway, she used me on bass a lot, and so I met Bill through her because she was trying to write the new theme for the Rocky 3 movie, and so she brought me in to play on her incarnation of trying to get this Eye of the Tiger thing going. This is before Scotty Brothers got Survivor in there. And so Bill liked my bass playing, and he hired me, and he said, well, use you on cues. So he hired Craig Cramp on drums and myself and another guitar player, and we did a whole bunch of cues for Rocky 3. And so when you look at all those pump and iron scenes in Rocky 3, when Apollo's trying to take Rocky back to the past and show him his L.A. training grounds, all those cues, that's me playing bass on all those.
That's
very
pretty
cool.
wild.
And that's just one example. I played on a lot of stuff, but that was just one.
See, you brought up Rocky 3, and I was going Iron Eagle.
Well, that was a song. Now, see, that was different. That was a song that Gary Malaber, the drummer from Miller, and I had written, and we threw that together and gave that to the producer. He liked it, so he put it in the movie, and that was a breakdancing scene with the lead character Reggie, so we called it Reggie's theme. But it was actually little pieces of music that we'd actually done for Steve that he hadn't used yet, that we just sort of edited together and made a song out of it, got a cue, got a sync license, got paid.
Wow. He says it so calmly, too. It's like, song, got a sync license, got paid.
Yeah, well,
like...
the thing with the music business is that it's not about just doing this. You don't just play a little bass guitar. You got to write. You got to sing. You got to entertain. You've got to invent instruments. You've got to go out and sell instruments. You got to do retail. You got to do training. You got to, I did, not only did I do Schecter, but I did Rivera guitar amps for JBL Harmon and did JBL Harmon products. And I worked for Guitar Center as a manager. I've taught, I'm a teacher. I've done everything you could possibly imagine for the music biz, and doing library music for television shows, movies, where you just have little 10, 15 second, a little piece like that, can pay you $10,000 if it's in the right thing,
Right.
So you have to do everything to survive. You can't just be a player. Being a player is just a
diverse
of being in the entertainment.
Right. You have to be well diverse within the industry.
You have to. Yep. It's like facets on a diamond. It's just a rock until you start cutting those facets.
That's a good way to look at it.
I like that. Wow.
That's the only way you can shine and be brilliant and be noticed.
That is true.
That's impressive, And
I'm still, look at me now. I'm 66 years old, and I'm still struggling just to try to get people to come to my shows. I just sold out a show. We had a lighthouse benefit for our historic 1890 lighthouse here in Avila Bay, where I live near. And I didn't know if people would show up, and it got sold out. And then last night I played the Mid-State Fair here, and I headlined it. I wouldn't say it was a sellout because, of course, the fair is the star. But people showed up, and they hung out and danced, and it was great. And it's like my name was on the marquee. It's like it took me this long doing all those other things just to get to this point.
Right.
You put your time in.
Yeah, but does it pay enough money to make a living, put my kids through college? Hell no. You have to do everything else. You can't just do one thing. The Miller gig is sort of like a lottery gig. That's just sort of like a big, how did that happen? And it's like, you can't even teach that to students, how you can get a job like that, because you never know how it's going to happen. I didn't even have to audition. I could tell you the story if you want, but it might be a little long. I don't know how much time you have.
Well, I know Leo's
keep asking questions.
I know Leo's got another show tonight, so we probably have to wrap up in about 10 minutes.
I'll just keep asking questions. I'll keep dazzling.
Yeah. Then everybody goes silent.
Keep dazzling, he says.
I I read
that's
that.
the diamond part. That's the diamond part. You know?
Right?
I read that Jerry Lee Lewis hassled you because of your name.
Yes, I was working for Billy Burnett, whose father was one of the original rockabilly writers in Memphis during the 50s. They wrote Tear It Up, Rip It Up, he and his uncle. Billy eventually got in Fleetwood Mac, as you know, so replaced Lindsay when Lindsay short-circuited. And I was doing some gigs with Billy, and Billy knew Jerry, and we were playing the Palomino Club in Los Angeles in the San Fernando Valley. If you've ever heard of the Palomino Club, it's pretty famous. Kind of a dump, but very, very, very famous. And we were playing there, and Jerry came to come down to see him. And Jerry was in some booth with some 13-year-old girl or something, you know, and we walk over to him, and he says, Jerry, I want to introduce this is my bass player. It's Kenny Lee Lewis. And he goes, you stole my name. I said, no, I didn't steal your name. I said, my parents hated you. I said, they were swinging. Here's my driver's license. My real name is Kendall Lee Lewis. My middle name Lee comes from my uncle Levi. And everybody just calls me Kenny now. So Kenny Lee Lewis just sort of came out of nowhere. And he went, okay. And he kind of blesses me with this, you know, the Catholic, you know, genuflect or whatever. It's okay. You can have my name. It's okay.
That's awesome.
That was my only Jerry Lee Lewis moment. Pretty funny.
Wow.
But I get teased all the time. People always say, "Oh, you're just stealing Jerry's name."
No, really, that's my name.
Yeah. I didn't even make the connection till.
Yeah, my first name is Kendall, just like the oil, like Kendall.
Right.
That's my real first name. It just doesn't sound very rock and roll. And ladies and gentlemen, rocking down to the bottom of the devil's lawn, we have Kendall. That just doesn't fly, you know.
It just doesn't fly. Oh shit.
I want to remind everybody that, you know, we have all the information for Kenny in the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us, and including a festival August 21st, right?
Yep.
Yeah, in Long Island.
My first debut coming back after a year and a half, just about.
Very cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Check out his website where you can learn how to play. Well,
yep.
at least try to learn how to play.
FRETFRENZ.com.
Right. He's got a YouTube channel. He's got books out on Amazon. I mean, he's got all the rivers flowing into the pond, folks.
Yep.
Right. You want to learn how to do it? Watch what this guy's been doing his entire life. That's what you got to do.
And I might just make bills this month.
See?
That's always a good thing.
Yeah.
That's the blessing. At least I'm making the bills.
Right.
You know, so. But yeah, it's almost dinner time.
You guys play? Are you guys musicians? You guys play?
My wife is.
I tried.
Okay.
I tried for years to play the guitar.
Okay.
I just don't get it.
Well,
it's not in my blood.
Go to my friend's site and take the free 24-hour trial. See if it gets you anything.
I am most certainly going to do that because I own a couple of guitars and I want to pick them. I do pick them up every once in a while just to see if I can do something.
Yeah.
I can do a little bit.
Yeah, you pick them up and you dust them off.
Well, what you probably
I should play a little bit.
Is get a nylon string guitar, a classical nylon, and make that your basic thing that you learn your skills on. It won't hurt your feelings, you know, because the steel strings is what discourages.
I actually have one. I had to make sure I didn't sell it. No, I actually got a nylon.
Use your nylon to do all the basic stuff, and then just kind of graduate once you get your calluses built up. Anyway, that's your teacher talking here.
Yeah. I got wood calluses, not tar calluses.
So Leo, you and I are gonna have to hook up after this. I'm gonna have to get some sage advice from you on the tech thing because I don't know what's going on.
Sounds good. Yeah, just we can connect after that.
He's definitely the man.
So Dorkening, I mean, just real quick. I mean, are we talking about the actual phallus of a dolphin? Is that what we're talking about, or is it just a euphemism for silly people? Or
it's just just a gathering of dorks. You know, just
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad to be dorking with you, and I thank you for letting me be a part of this dorkage.
Well, it's definitely an honor. Yeah.
All right, there's a good one.
Dorkish. Yeah.
Dorking is dorking.
I was talking to a publicist the other day, and he ccame up with Nerdapalooza. I was like, Nerdapalooza? What? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, I got to tell Leo this, man.
Is that like a festival for just people with eyeglasses with thick rims, or?
I guess you got to, pocket protectors included, right?
Nerdapalooza. Wow. That's a good one.
Nerdapalooza.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I like that.
That sounds awesome.
So now, Jeff, you sound like you're from New England. Are you all New England guys?
I'm in Mass, Ben's in Mass, Leo's in Connecticut.
Okay, yeah, you guys are all, having great Italian food and talking like you drive a taxi. So I get it.
Pretty much.
Right?
Us in California, we all talk like this, man. You know what I'm saying? We're all the Big Lebowski out here. That's what we.
Right.
Like this aggression cannot stand.
But Leo, you do have another show tonight.
I do.
So
yes, my food is about ready, and
Jeff's
it goes
food is
with
about ready.
That underlying theme we've had tonight.
Dildos?
Believe it or not. Yeah, because I'm having tacos.
Oh, it sort of rhymes with it. I got you. Nice tie in there, Jeff.
See, like how I did that.
Okay, on that note, I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. Make sure you check out all the information for Kenny up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. Definitely, check out his book. Also, check out the event happening on the 21st. And also, if you're looking to learn to play an instrument, definitely check out his websites as well. I have all of them in the show notes. For me, just Google Leo Pond. You'll find a bunch of stuff. Could be true, could be not. I'm not going to say which is which, but I run a little thing called the Dorkening Podcast Network. Almost 40 shows on a network. Matter of fact, we're going to be doing another one in just shortly. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Ghostbusters Afterlife, the new trailer. Also, the Suicide Squad. Sylvester Stallone is going to be killing it with, King Shark. And Kenny, where do you like people interacting with you on the socials?
Interacting with me?
Yeah.
I have 3 or 4 Facebook sites. I'm always up doing stuff on Facebook. Of course, it's not the one of the professionals. I mean, Instagram, I have a presence. I'm building that up as we go. But yeah, Instagram's fine, if they want to message me there. But, Facebook is probably the most active place where I am. But, they can even, send me, like I said, just an email through my website, kennyleelewis.com on the contact thing. And I put them on mailing lists. We can communicate there. But yeah, I mean, I have, my band Friends is on there. My band Barflies is on Facebook. I have a band called Supernova, which is this Afro-Cuban mambo thing that I just started on there. But I mean, I also have a Kenny Lee Lewis personal site, which I do politics on, which we were forbidden tonight to talk about. And then I also have my artist site, which is Kenny Lee Lewis artist site, which, is another site. So I have about 5 Facebook sites, my Instagram site, and my YouTube channel. So all those are fine. But, personally talking to me, Messenger on Facebook.
Nice. Jeffrey.
All right. Thanks, guys.
No, hold on. You ain't going nowhere yet.
Oh, I'm not going nowhere? Okay.
No, you hang tight.
Well, okay.
Hang tight till after Leo closes the show.
After the show closes, we're going to be backstage again.
Oh, okay. We're all going to take our clothes off and then kind of get to know each other?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Just like a tour bus.
Wow, okay. You can find me on Facebook. Look me up. I might be there. I might not. It might be me. It might not. You know what I mean? Okay. So you can look me up there. But if you want to follow everything that we're doing, go to stilltoking.com. There's links in the show notes up above and down below. You can reach out to me personally. I might get back to you, I might not. I make no guarantees on that end.
Okay. And then like I said, if we're coming anywhere near you and you'd like to come, and hang, when we play Massachusetts, we either do Foxwoods or we play the Tent in Boston, I'm
going to find your schedule and I'm going to reach out to you. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. And then, I'll get you backstage and we'll get you some guacamole and beer, like I said.
Guac and beer.
Yeah, California thing. Actually, I don't drink the beer. I just probably have some. I don't even drink before the show anymore. I can't. I'm getting too old.
Do you wear the Glock?
You gotta watch Miller, man. Miller, he changes arrangements like that, and he'll come in on a 16th note, and we all have to correct, and we always make him look good, and that's what we get paid for. So we have to be on our game. So we can't be high at all when we're on his gig. He's just unpredictable. As you'll see when you come to the show.
Right.
But we make him look.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, the audience never knows. I mean, they always think he's just fantastic. It's amazing. They don't realize that he dropped this verse or came in an 8th note slot, and it's completely fucked up the arrangement. Nobody knows this, except for the band. Pretty funny.
Wow. All right, so you hang out for a few minutes. Ben, take us out of here.
So like Jeff said, you can find us at stilltoking.com. You can find everything from the comic books to this awesome show that we do do every week to our new live TV series that we're filming.
Okay.
And all that great stuff. We want to thank Kenny Lee Lewis for coming on and joining us tonight. To all our veterans and first responders, we want to thank you for doing what you do every day so people like us can do what we do every day. We're out of here. Stay safe. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks for having me. Sorry I was late.